Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be assessing the credibility of Jay Walder, CEO of Motivate Bike Share, which is currently partnering with Ford to produce the Go Bike Initiative. The Go Bike Initiative is similar to City Bike, which is a bike share that covers the 5 boroughs of New York City. Only Go Bike would be working with the Bay Area. To judge Jay Walder, I will be reviewing his believability and intelligence as well as his overall credibility based on a speech Walder gave on the Embarcadero at the Go Bike launch in July. In terms of believability, I was fairly convinced by Walder's enthusiasm for the Go Bike Initiative. What made me partly believe in Walder's speech was his proficient use of body language and tone in an attempt to captivate his audience. And when Walder is talking, he was using his body language to fill an awkward void that is created when you don't move your hands. And instead of keeping his hands still at his side, Walder coordinated his gestures to emphasize the different points he was trying to make. And an example of that would be if Walder was speaking in hyperbole, he would be using large hand gestures to really emphasize his point. And similar to body language, Walder used the tone of his voice to emphasize the different points he was making. At a point in his speech when he was explaining the rapid growth of Go Bike, Walder was using his voice. He was raising his voice to give off a sense of excitement or a lot of anticipation towards the growth of Go Bike, and I think that also helped him gain some credibility with his audience, who was actually excited for the growth of Go Bike. And Walder's enthusiasm helped him gain a bit of credibility with his audience, but what reinforced his enthusiasm and his overall credibility was his intelligence. Walder displayed a fair amount of intelligence through his physical appearance, which is the presumed and reputed credibility, and also as well as through his use of facts and his attentiveness to who his audience was. What I presume and Walder's reputation also play to his advantage when assessing his intelligence. For this speech, which was held on the Embarcadero on a weekend, it seemed like, Walder is dressed in a business casual outfit, which implies to me that he usually works in an environment where he has a reputation to uphold. And also going off of that, he's the CEO of the Motivate Bike Share. So to get to that position, he must have some sort of knowledge, so that's the reputed side of that. And also on Walder's physical appearance, he's wearing glasses, which because of the popular social connotation that if you have glasses, you do a lot of reading, that makes him look a little bit more intelligent. And also Walder is an older gentleman, which as we talked about in class, it also gives him a little bit of presumed credibility, and that paired with him looking like a businessman. And a more concrete example of Walder's intelligence is his use of facts. Although his speech is pretty brief, he is able to interject a couple of facts that really substantiate his enthusiasm and provide some concrete evidence that Go Bike is actually expanding and has potential. And another example that I think is really huge that points to Walder's intelligence is his perception of his audience. And Walder might not be from the Bay Area, and he might not be passionate about public transport on a personal level, but he knows that the crowd he's speaking to most definitely is. So through his use of tone and body language, Walder is able to express his excitement and his maybe a facade of excitement or anticipation that the audience shares, and he's able to gain credibility through making the audience believe that he's as excited as they are. And overall, I thought the speech was, I thought Walder during this speech was fairly credible. Downside that I forgot to mention that I don't really like was that Walder was looking at his paper the whole time when he was reading, and he wasn't. That made him seem not very prepared. But other than that, it seems that his speech had a fair amount of validity, and he did care about what he was talking about in terms of virtue and goodwill. And yeah, that's my closing.